by 408 runs, one of the largest margins in test defeats for India, going down twice within 12 months to two good nations, New Zealand and now South Africa. Must be a hard pill to swallow for everyone. Welcome to Cricbuzz Chatter. But I've got a beaming Shaun Pollock who's pretty happy because the last time this happened was when he was here. That was way back in 2000. That was Hansi Cronje. Must be a huge tick box or a tick for this team and the WTC champions.
Yeah, I think everyone in that management team, everyone in the playing 11, anyone in that squad, everyone back home, past players included, will be very proud of what they've managed to achieve. I think when they come to the shores of India, you think if we can draw the series, win one test, but to win 2-0, and in the fashion that they've won the second one, the first test was about character. They had to show character to find a way, and they did this. But this has just been convincing. Post 500, bowl India out for 200, set them 550 again, and bowl them out for 140. It couldn't be more convincing. And guys stepping up. Marco Jansen bowled well, Salman Harmer bowled well, Senbu to somebody brought in, he gets 100. So lots of contributions from different guys. Yeah, just a very quality performance from South Africa. And then obviously a lot of questions for India about what's gone wrong and what could they possibly be different. I think the manner in which the defeat happened today would be more concerning. I expected them to try and ground out a reply, but to be bowled out for 140 would be very disappointing, and it's left them with a lot of thinking to do. I know they don't play the next test match for a long period of time, but I'm sure there'll be a bit of soul searching and a bit of extra planning about the next series that they play.
Yeah, what's disappointing is that the fear factor. India was always the final frontier. People feared coming here. It's never easy winning any side at home, but to come to India was always seen as a daunting task. I think the last time this happened was 4 decades ago when India lost first to West Indies in 83, and then to England in 84. Do you feel that fear factor is going?
Yeah, I mean, when I say a fear factor, we often, from South African perspective, you look at a fear because of the conditions in South Africa. People might fear the fast, bouncy surfaces. But from an intimidation perspective and from a trying to think of how to find a way to beat India, it was always very difficult to come up with the right game plan and to prepare yourself skill-wise to be able to do it. So, yeah, it would be a bit of concern. As you say, I mean, 3-0 and 2-0. It's kind of not something you would have been able to predict maybe 18 months ago or even longer when India were dominating, playing such good cricket on their home grounds, and it was a case of rock up in India, you're going to get beaten by the spinners. So it has come as a surprise. And yes, there's been some personal changes. Yes, Shubman Gill wasn't available for the 2 games or didn't bat in the 2 games, which made a big difference. And, that first game in Calcutta was close, and if it goes the other way, then maybe there's not so much concern. But to have lost that one, and then the fashion of this one, I think, is the one that's going to hurt the most.
Yeah, the fashion and the way they fell today. You expected a bit more fight from the Indian team because we are used to it. But just looking at what we said on Cricbuzz and with our analysis that the pitch is pretty good. And for India to just literally cave in so quickly, it was like a procession after a point. Where do you think they went wrong? And was it lack of application, lack of skill?
Yeah, I think technically there was a few issues today. There is going to be balls that are going to take wickets on a 5th day. But I think India, the way they went about it, some of the players not picking length, lunging forward, getting themselves into trouble. I think Sasa Dashan kind of went nowhere, which didn't help his innings. There was a couple of things. But if you look back at the test, I think after they won 247 for 6, they let South Africa off the hook. And then losing, 6 wickets for the position of 27 runs when they first batted. You can't have those in test matches and expect to be competitive and to fight back. So they might look back at those situations. I mean, I felt like they were always going to lose today, but we just wanted to see them fight and try and take it as deep as they could. But, sometimes it's these losses and these catalyst moments where there's a rethink, there's a rejig, there's a restructuring, and then your team can go from strength to strength after that. But definitely, for me, it looks like where your test run's coming from. I mean, besides Shubman Gill maybe and Jaswal at the top of the order, KL Rahul, the others that are making up that top 6 or 7, I think that's where lies the concern for India.
I think Jadeja has been batting well. Washington Sundar has been batting well. Yeah, that's definitely one concern. And talking of test centers. You guys have very specific test centers. You think of England, they've got very specific test centers. Australia, the same. You know how the test matches are going to go. Do you think we need something like that, or is it just a cop out?
No, I mean, it shouldn't be that much of a concern. I think maybe you do give away an advantage because, I mean, you talk about this venue. I think the pitch played unbelievably well, and there was nothing wrong with the pitch. There was wickets taken, there was runs scored, but you guys kind of didn't know what to expect as much as we did because it's been the first test. And if there's certain centres where you play really well, you only get a few tests in these series these days. It's not like you have 5. You often get 2, maybe 3. So you got to try and use the conditions as best you can to your advantage. I mean, talking rugby, I know that when certain teams come to South Africa, we always like to play them at the half field because breathing is difficult. And cricket-wise, when the teams from the subcontinent, we tend to play them at the half field as well because it's a swinging deliveries and the pace of the pitches are a bit more than the coastal conditions. So if you've got an opportunity, try and use it. But not saying there was no problem with that surface. I thought that test wicket was very good.
Talking of performances, I think South Africa are obviously beaming. They're going to be extremely happy with what they've achieved, WTC champions, and then a good run in Pakistan where they drew, coming back to win a game, and then now to win 2-0. They must be pretty happy. Shaun, just looking at your own career and the fact that you had such a good one, what do you make of this South African side?
Yeah, I think the nice thing is that it's kind of just been they found a way. They have found a way to get enough runs. They've found a way to pick up wickets. They found a way by getting Simon Harmer back into the mix when he wasn't on the horizon. But as I said, the exciting thing for me is that there's still room for improvement. I can see some of those batters developing their techniques a little bit more, having a bit more of an understanding of what's required. You got Senbi Tusami, who sits on the side. He gets brought into the squad. He finds a way to be competitive and perform. And Pakistan, I think we were 200 for 7 or something. We put on another 200 with the last 3 wickets. Here we were 247 for 6. We showed character to get to 480. So they are finding a way, and that's what exciting. I mean, the character you can't complain about. As I say, I think they can get better, which is exciting. We've got a big series coming up now, or 2. We obviously would have Australia coming to South Africa, which would be a big test. I would expect us to beat Bangladesh, particularly on pitches that would suit us. And then England come. So I think those 2 test series are going to be massive. As far as the World Test Championship goes and having a good start, 3 test matches to win out of your first 4 in the subcontinent, Pakistan and India. If you'd offered that to the team before the schedule started, they'd have put off your hand saying, listen, we'll take that with both hands. So real good start. And got to be impressed with Temba and what his troops are doing.
A word on Simon Harmer. Just think what a decade has done. 10 wickets in that previous series, comes here, picks up 17. What is it that he has done well compared to the rest? Has he read the wickets better, or do you think that his skill levels are far superior? And you don't say that when you come to India and compare him against Indian spinners, but would you say that his skill levels were far superior compared to the others that he played against?
Yeah, he's definitely learned his game, hasn't he? I think he also got 13 wickets. I stand to be correct, but he could have got 13 wickets in Pakistan, or 11 or 13. So he's almost got 30 wickets in his last 4 test matches, which is fantastic from his perspective.
He's part of that list after 14 test matches to be on that list of top wicket takers, which includes you as well.
But so, I mean, he's mature now, isn't he? That's maybe the only downside. I think he's 35.
36 something.
Yeah, but he's learned his skills. And at the end of the day, people think that their careers, they get defined when they given the opportunity at the international level. He's shown that he hasn't been defined by that. He came in 2015. It's now, so what would he been there? 25 or 26. He went away, worked on his skills, and now he'll be remembered for the Simon Harmer, the rebirth, 2.0, if you want to put it that way. And the control is just so impressive. Even when he came back into the side, he played in England, I think in Manchester, and he had done well on the county circuit. That might have been 3 or 4 years back. And he came back and he was cleaning up on the county circuit. We kind of thought, well, he hasn't been at his best, so we're a bit surprised. But this now shows me that even after that, he's learned his trade brilliantly. And it's a wonderful conundrum now for South Africa, where you've got two spinners. There's another subcontinent tour to Sri Lanka, which will be important, 2027 in February. And that probably would have to get some result there in order to qualify. You now know that you've got two people who can do that job. Kesha Moritz also getting on in years, and we'll have to find someone to replace both of them eventually. But for now, we've got that covered.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at it, when you think of teams which have done well against us recently. New Zealand had Mid-Santner bowled with a lot of control and Ajaz Patel. Think of Monty and Swan, who won against India, so they did really well. And now these two have been pretty consistent. I know Keshav Maharaj, in comparison, was actually insignificant when you look at the contributions. He's picked up, what, 4 or 5 wickets, whereas Simon Harmer has picked 17. And he also, in the post-match presentation, he said he's heading back to Essex and also for his domestic team. And that's interesting because he is still plying his trade. He's still working on honing his craft. And is that something which is affecting the Indian spinners? Are they playing enough domestic cricket to bowl on different tracks to hone their skills?
Yeah, your point's so valid because we play Australia in September. And he'll come off 5 months of county cricket. So every time he's been asked to come and compete, the good thing is that he's been playing. And sometimes you'll start a season where you maybe just get net practice or one little practice match under the belt. He's come in, and it shows that when you're in form, when you've played a lot of cricket, when it's feeling good out of your hand or finger, you can make a massive impact.
Now it's time for the hotspot.
I'm going to ask you the
hotspot. But there's a change. Yeah, there's a change.
I'm going to ask you.
Polly Kaka is going to put me in the hotspot.
What is the route forward for Indian cricket in Test arena? Do you need to look at the coach? Do you need to look at the structure? Do you need to look at the personnel? What's your thoughts? Because I think it's not convincing that you've lost these 2 series.
I know there's a lot of pressure on poor Gambhir. I can feel for him, but the thing is, this is the same coach under whom you won the Champions Trophy. You've just drawn in England, and it's not as if I know the worst thing is that you've lost twice at home, to be precise. One against New Zealand, now to South Africa. Yes, lost to Australia in the PGT. Yeah, and also just 2 series won. When you think of the 6 series that they've played, one that has been against Bangladesh and West Indies. So I know that the pressure is mounting. It's interesting when you look at what has happened. When we lost 3-0, I'm just thinking we had Rohit and Virat, and we had Ashwin, and we didn't fare well. We didn't play well at all, to be very honest. And now this is a young team. So is that an excuse, or do you still feel, or do you still say that when you can win other tournaments, why not at home, especially given the fact that these guys are all playing in India? It's a combination of both. I think we need to find the right personnel. I don't think suddenly dropping the coach is the answer, because it's not as if they've not won under him. But the thing is finding the right people, or finding the people and persisting with them and having some patience with them. I think that is the way forward. I actually thought that Sai Sudarshan would be a great addition to the side because of the way he played, but obviously he has to work out his technical flaws and maybe certain temperamental flaws, because today there were areas where he just got into a sort of a shell or a muddle, because there were balls which should have been put away, which he didn't put away. Dhruv Jurel batting so well down the order suddenly gets bumped up the order, and everybody felt that he can possibly get picked just as a batter alone, just like you've been rooting for Senuran Muthuswamy just as a batter alone. But then, given that responsibility, he hasn't got runs in this series. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Shubman Gill obviously was a big miss. But I don't think, I know the pressure is on Gautam. I can feel for him. But I think we need to get the right personnel and have a thorough game plan going forward.
Yeah, my thoughts on it is, I think we've seen it as a trend in world cricket where test match batting is not that easy, or people aren't being primed to be able to play test matches. And when you look back at the past, you talk about your Sharmas and you talk about your Codys. And if you look in England, you talk about your Roots, you talk about your Steve Smith. A lot of those guys kind of started learning their trade 10, 15 years back, and when test cricket was very prevalent, There's a lot of 4-day cricket played in and around the T20 stuff. But now, as you say, because people don't get to spend much time playing 4-day cricket or first-class cricket, it's almost like the art of being able to bat in Test match cricket has been lost. If it's a flat wicket, yes, they can dominate. But if it's a bit asking the techniques to be tested, I mean, if you look at South Africa, so we've had your De Villiers, your Umlins, your Smiths, your Kellises, they retire, and no one averages 40. So there's another example. The only difference is our guys have kind of found a way because of different contributions. So maybe there's just the only thing I would maybe suggest is find 2 batters who probably aren't going to be T20 guys that play a bit like Pujara, where he wasn't really considered in any RPL teams, and develop 2 of those guys so that you've kind of got a little bit of a solid technical backbone to the batting department, and you can rely on those guys for 5, 6, 10 years to come.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly what I've said as well, that you need the right personnel and persist with them for a while, because they're going to take some time to develop. Yeah, you're also looking at people who are doing well on the domestic circuit. You just don't say, oh, we see some potential in him and just blood him in, and he doesn't have the tools or the mental aptitude to perform. You also want to give due credence to people who are doing well in the domestic circuit and just find the right personnel.
But it takes a big step by the selector, because first of all, temperament, you got to identify. Technique. There are certain techniques that have got to be good enough to survive Test cricket. So you've got to go for those right options. And then in and around that, you're going to have your other players like your punts and your Jaswals who play the T20 stuff but come back and still can play Test cricket and add the flair and flamboyance. But I think some people who can grind out scores and be a backbone, I think that's what.
Yeah, everything is about WTC and that cycle. What do you think this loss hurts India's chances now?
Yeah, it does. I think it hurts it a lot, because you think of some of the series. You've got Australia coming here, right?
Yeah, 5 matches, but that is 2027. We've got Sri Lanka, I think August of 26.
Yeah, so I mean, Sri Lanka will be an ask if you go in there, because they'll prepare conditions certainly, and they were in contention for the World Test Championship last year, except by losing twice to Australia in the February before the cycle closed. So I think it will be challenging, unless they can find a way to get their batting performances better. I think the break might be coming at a good time. Give yourself 6 months, regroup, find the right personnel and how you want to play, and then take it from there.
All right, enough of doom and gloom. I'm very morose. You can see that in my tone. But let's shift our focus to white ball cricket. Kohli and Rohit Sharma back in the team. KL Rahul to captain the side in the absence of Shubman Gill, who still hasn't recovered from. What do you make of that squad? And also, what can we expect from South Africa? They're up against the Proteas, of just won a Test series, so they'll be riding high. What do we have in store? And can anyone manage to surprise anyone?
No, I mean, obviously like the batters, so much about those 2 experienced guys, and it'll be good to see them back. Gaikwad, I enjoy. Tilak Varma, I like his abilities. Prasid Krishna, I've been impressed. Arshdeep Singh, it's another one I'll look forward to seeing. I said Rana. So, I like the look of that squad. I would love to have seen Shubman Gill. But a lot of people say, oh, one-day cricket, it's dead, or whatever it may be. This is where our old stars find that they've got a niche market. So it's nice that it's still around, and it'll be interesting to see how they go. I mean, can't be easy for the senior players. I mean, I don't know what sort of preparation they do themselves. Individually, they'll have to do something. But it's not easy when you're not playing a lot of cricket to come back into these series and perform. But they showed that they could do it in that last game, particularly in Australia.
Yeah, the Rohit 2 games, Rohit back-to-back games, and Virat came back very strongly after having 2 ducks in the first 2 games, and
they'll probably be more determined than ever.
And there was a wry smile when he went off the mark. Can you imagine?
Okay, Kartik. So of that team, what's your probable 11 looking for? I mean, there's plenty of options up front. So give me your opening batters and your batting order, and throw the bowlers in there. Come on.
I think Rohit and Gill open in the last ODI. So I'm thinking Rohit and Yashasvi Jaiswal will open that combination, and then at number 3 Virat. Number 4, KL Rahul, captain, wicketkeeper. Not wicketkeeper, I would say as a captain. Need to find a place for Rishabh Pant. I suppose he'll be in the mix.
Gaikwad of Varma, have they got a chance?
Interesting. I don't know. Ruturaj Gaikwad is more a frontline batsman, so He can only fit in place of Yashasvi Jaiswal. Tilak Verma might find a gig. In terms of bowlers, I would say Arshdeep has to start. Nitish Kumar Reddy and his all-round skills should be used. Ravindra Jadeja, Washington Sundar, both will get a gig.
No, there's too many runs. I'm going Jadeja, Sundar, and then
No, Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Definitely.
No, I'm just asking you.
No, I'm thinking those other two on your conditions. When
Okay.
it comes to South Africa, good World Cup option.
Okay.
And then
Arshdeep Singh, Harshit Rana. So they've tended to go with Harshit.
Okay. What do I know?
No. What do I know?
No, I don't know. I don't
what
know
do
what
I
you guys
know?
are being-
Yeah, but we're just making a probable 11 of our own thinking. But I'm thinking Yashasvi Jaiswal and
Well, it sounds
will replace Shubman Gill.
Whichever way you go, it sounds strong.
Depending on the conditions. We don't know the conditions yet. We're starting in Ranchi, so we'll figure it out once we get there. What about South Africa? They must be riding high, and who are the players to watch out for?
South Africa, there's been a lot of mix and matching, to be brutally honest. I suppose the interesting ones for Indian fans who maybe haven't seen that much of certain players is Ruben Herman and Matthew Bretsky. De Beer, everyone knows about, and he'll obviously bring a lot of firepower to the attack, and he's thoroughly entertaining to watch. Quinton de Kock back in the mix. There's another experienced one. So all the experienced boys were back for this series.
Yeah.
And then bowling was Sir Brian, a nice off spinner. Corbin Bosch, you obviously know about, and Janssen. Nandre Berger's one that really excites me. Left arm seamer. He's a bit like the Brett Schultz of old.
Yeah, quick.
He charges in, gets the ball to shape nicely, and has had a stress fracture, so not considered. He's actually a good find for us Test cricket going forward as well. But they've given him 6 months where he's not going to play the longer format. But he will be firing fit, and he's done well with the ball in Pakistan in particular. So a nice blend there. Some new names, but
What
the
about
series
Neil?
will be Bartman. Yeah, he's done well domestically. Probably needs a little bit more on the surfaces. So he's more on the World Cup plans for 2027 for South Africa, where we'll get conditions that nip around. Holds a good line, very consistent. And we'll see what he plays. But imagine that. Retired Quinton de Kock is back, and the two stalwarts from India are back. So we'll call it the old day series.
How much people would want Virat Kohli to start now in the Test match arena, given what we are facing. But that's it. That's it from us here in Cricbuzz Chatter. Thanks for watching us, and it's been an eventful series. One should say. Polly is enjoying it.
It's
but
time for Africa.
No, we shouldn't be singing. So yeah, that's it. That's it from us on Cricbuzz Chatter.